Alright, so I just came back from watching Karate Kid Legends, and I'll tell you, this movie was not what I was expecting. Because judging by the trailers we got and the name literally being Karate Kid Legends, I thought that this was gonna focus on Han and Daniel LaRusso's character. But that's kind of not what we got in this film. Because I actually thought is that I thought that Daniel and Han, I thought they're gonna butt heads with each other teaching this new kid. Like they're gonna say, "Oh no, my style is better because of this and this. No, my style is better because of this and this." I thought that's what the movie's gonna be about, but no, there were elements of that, but no, that was not what this movie was about. Like to be honest with you, they're barely in this movie. Like Han, like so Jackie Chan's character, he's like what about 30% ish part in this movie. Like he's only like 30% in the movie. Like that's how many scenes he has. And Daniel LaRusso is even less than that, like about 10%, 10-15%, I would say he's in the movie. Yeah, so they're barely in the movie. So this does focus on a new kid. So the whole story does focus on Li Fang. He's basically the main character in this movie. And to be honest with you, this story, so the whole overall story does borrow elements from the original Karate Kid movie and the Karate Kid movie 2010 movie. Like for example, how Li Fang and his mother, they move to a whole new country and they have to adapt and they get into the trouble like with the bully and I'm not gonna get into spoilers in this review, so I'm not gonna talk too much about the story. But overall the movie, it was not too bad. Like I know that a lot of people do not like this movie, but for me personally, I think the movie was an average movie. Probably I would say it was a good B movie. Like those martial arts movies, how it's like, yeah, it's not a good story, but because of the fighting, it's not too bad. You know what I mean? It's not too bad. That's literally what I think about this movie. The movie's not too bad. It's an average movie. At least that's what I think. Because the action was pretty good. Like the martial arts was really good, but the story was okay. Well, it did borrow, like I said, like elements here and there, like especially with the first Karate Kid movie and the 2010 one. So it did borrow elements from that. And obviously it's kind of like telling kind of basically the same story in a sense, like as I mentioned before. But yeah, I think it was an average movie. Now, I do think that the actors did a very good job. Jackie Chan was pretty cool, can't remember, I forgot his name. The guy who plays Daniel LaRusso, he did a pretty good job. And even Li Fang, the guy who played Li Fang, he did a good job as well. All the supporting cast did a good job. It's just this movie suffers, I would say, the story-wise. Like the script of this movie is a bit wonky here. Like it's not a very, how do I say, not. It's not a very well written movie because there are some points in the movie where it tries to poke at your heartstrings, but it kind of fails to do that at certain points of this movie. But I do understand what they're trying to go for. And also, to be honest with you, it was a little bit predictable here and there as well. That's another thing as well. Because, like there's certain things that happen to certain characters, but that they're not gonna, it's safe. They're not gonna die or anything. Like it is kind of predictable as well. But like I said, the story's a bit iffy. But yeah, like I said, like when it comes to the action, I think the action is really good. Actually, before I talk about the action, when I said that the story's a bit wonky, I'm talking about the pacing of this movie because there are some scenes in this movie where it kind of starts to drag a little bit. But then when it gets, to the most important bits of the movie, it does, accelerate. So it's kind of like, it kind of goes up and down in a sense, not like a straight line, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah, the pacing is a bit iffy because, like I said, there's certain points, especially like the early parts of the movie, it can kind of drag a bit. But when it gets to like the third act, things really, really pick up at that point. And it does happen here and there in the movie as well. It kind of goes, like I said, up and down. And like there's some really good scenes, and then there's some scenes that kind of really drag out. That's the thing. Also, I do appreciate that the movie was like roughly about 90 minutes. But the movie did feel kind of long. So, yeah, it did feel like that to me. Like, it did feel like a long movie. Now, about the action. The action was the best part of the movie because the martial arts, especially, how they portrayed Kung Fu and Karate, they did a really good job portraying these two martial arts and they were truthful to them. So, yeah, the action was really good. Like, especially, like, you can expect because, like, with Daniel Russo, for example, the actor, like, he's gone through, like, the first Karate Kid movies and he's gone through Cobra Kai. Like you know, the fight photography is pretty good, like in those movies as well. And also in this movie, you also got Jackie Chan, which is like a real martial artist as well. Now, about the actor Lee Fang, I'm not too sure if he's a real martial artist, but he does look like he is. He does look like he's a legit martial artist. So, yeah, the martial arts was really good in this. And I've also heard is that he also actually trained for this movie as well. So, yeah, he did. The actor for Lee Fang, he did a really good job. And also, like even the supporting cast, like the bully, the martial arts. Can't remember his name in the movie, but he was like the way he was fighting would look like legit as well. So the actors did a very good job. Now about the writing with the bully side, because the thing is he's very forgettable because the bully himself, he's barely in this movie. Like I think there's only like 5 scenes with him, I think, if I remember correctly, which is a weird part because it wasn't enough to develop the bully in a sense. They just showed me like he's the antagonist, he's a martial artist, so let's go do and let's go. You know what I'm saying? So the bully, the actor did a very good job with training this bully, but the writing was not very well for his character, if that makes sense. Like the only character that kind of stands out the most is Lee Fang, but obviously you know he is the main character, but like it's always focused on him and his development through the martial arts and the problem he has to deal with. So and he's a lovable character. So yeah, to be honest with you, I think we will see him in future movies. I think we'll because he's a well-developed character, but they really only focused on him. Like I said, because with the bully himself, the bully himself, like he's barely in the movie. Like they just, like I said, they just throw out an antagonist to you. He's the bad guy. He's a martial artist. This is the guy he's gonna go up against, and let's go. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that made sense. Now, actually, I should have said this at the start of the video, but if you guys want to know where this movie stands, like where it is in the timeline, this is 2 years after the Cobra Kai finishes. So this is so after the ending of Cobra Kai, this is 2 years after. And to be honest with you, like if you're still watching Cobra Kai and you think you're gonna get spoiled by watching this movie, they're not in it. Like the kids are not in it. It's only Daniel LaRusso that comes back. That's all. They don't even mention the past or anything like that. So you're not gonna get spoiled or anything if you watch this movie and then watch Cobra Kai. But I do recommend you watch Cobra Kai first, then this. But you won't get spoiled if that's what you're worried about. And also, I just remembered is that they do an homage to Mr. Miyagi at the beginning of the movie. But I won't say what happens because of spoilers and stuff like that. But overall, this movie was not too bad. It was an average movie. You know, there's some good parts here and there, and some parts do tend to drag. But it was not a bad movie. So, do I recommend this? If you like the Karate Kid movies and you've stayed like and you've watched Cobra Kai, then you probably are gonna like this movie. And obviously, if you like martial arts, you will like this movie. But if that does not interest you, or you want to jump into the Karate Kid like series for the first time, this is not a good entry point to it. It's not. It really is not a good entry point. And also, if you don't like Karate Kid, you're definitely not gonna like this movie. But yeah, that's what I do recommend. So if you like the Karate Kid franchise, go ahead and watch this. I think you will like it. But with that being said, also don't put your expectations too high for this movie because, like I said, it is an average movie. You're not gonna see a blockbuster movie at the edge of your seat kind of movie. It's not that type of movie. It's a B movie with really good action scenes here. To be honest with you, that's what this movie is basically. Because I was watching some other people like with their reviews on this movie, and there's a lot of people that don't like this movie because it is like this. Like it's to them, it's not like, you know, it's not that blockbuster movie, if you know what I'm saying. Because there's a lot of people that actually don't like this movie. But for me, to be honest with you, I did like the movie, but it is an average movie. That's what I actually think about. Those are my thoughts on this movie. So anyway, that's enough from me. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. And yeah, thank you for watching.